This is TWiT.
We've got a full week's worth of news. We were talking to the Discord beforehand, and one of our loyal listeners said, "Man, it's been kind of a boring news week in Linux news." I was like, "No, there's some stuff going on." At the very least, I know there's fallout from the age verification stuff, and Rob has been all over that. And we're going to let Rob take it away and go through some of the various responses that we've seen to this new California law. Rob, what's the scoop?
All right. Well, to start off, I will not be in embedded world this week. I will just be in bed in this world this week. So anyway, last week we talked about many of the new age verification laws popping up in places like California and potentially coming to other areas like Colorado, and I think New York happened after last week, but that's another one that's potentially coming our way. This week, let's talk about what some of the distros are saying. The theme across the board is that this is vague, it's messy. Nobody in the Linux world is excited about turning the operating system into an age-checking gatekeeper. I'll start off with System 76. They've probably been maybe the most direct about this. CEO Carl Richel argues these laws are easy to work around and miss the real problem entirely. In his words, effectiveness is lost with the California and Colorado style approach. And with New York's broader proposal, liberty is lost. His point is simple. If a kid wants around an OS level age setting, he probably can. They can use a virtual machine, reinstall the OS, or find another workaround. System 76's broader argument is that this becomes more about control and data sharing than actual protection. In a quote from a blog post of his, he says, "If there is any solace in these two laws, it's that they don't have any real restrictions. There is no actual age verification," kind of somewhat what Jonathan, I think, was saying last week. And he says, to go on, whoever installs the operating system or created the account simply says what age they are or what age they want to be. They can lie. They will lie. They're being encouraged to lie for fear of being restricted to a nerfed internet. I myself, I've told my kids, and when he's like couldn't get on something, he was like, in my opinion, what it was, he's old enough. I'm like, just change your age. Just put your age as this. Anyway, Carl's sentiment really kind of mirrors what I said last week, that these laws don't work, not the way they're designed. Ubuntu's response has been much more cautious. Canonical says it is aware of the California law and is reviewing it with legal counsel. But right now, there are no concrete plans for how or even whether Ubuntu will change. This is a pretty important signal. One of the biggest Linux vendors in the world is not rushing to announce compliance. It is basically saying, we hear this, we're studying it, but we don't have an answer yet. Fedora, also cautious, but in a slightly different way. Fedora project leader Jeff Spaleta said he wanted to avoid speculation until he had a chance to sync with legal help, and later added, this has ecosystem-wide impact. The big guys want legal help, makes sense. Goes on, that really gets to the heart of it. This is not just a Fedora problem or an Ubuntu problem. If the law sticks, they could ripple across distros, app stores, desktop environments, and software repositories. And, there's always a slippery slope argument. And then there is MidnightBSD. I've never heard of this one, but they have a blunt. They have the bluntest reaction of all. Instead of building a compliance system or finding ways to, get around it or make it work or whatever, it just says California residents are not authorized to use MidnightBSD for desktop use starting January 1st, 2027, because the project does not have the development time or a plan to deal with the law. So, you guys just can't use it. So right now, the distro world is landing in kind of three camps: the legal review, the uncertainty, or the complete open resistance. And there's probably some out there that aren't responding because it's like, yeah, whatever, it's a bunch of big nothingness. But obviously those people aren't saying anything because it's a bunch of big nothingness to them. And well, I guess that's where some of them stand. I don't know who it is, but many are also just hoping the dumb law gets overturned at some point in appeals or somewhere else. And that's been a sentiment from some of them too. So, they're all looking at it, all thinking about where they're going to go, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's useful to keep in mind that, like, even worst case, these laws, I've not looked at the New York law, but the California law, it's not doing anything like you must take a picture before you can create an account. Hold your ID up and take a picture. And like, there's some online services where that's what you get to do. That's not the way this would work. I had another thought and it's gone.
An interesting thing about System 76 also is, the law potentially coming to Colorado. System 76 is based in Colorado, so it may be harder for them to avoid as they could with other states potentially.
Maybe.
Yeah, I watched Lunduke. He said that Omarchy, basically, I won't repeat it, but that distribution basically told them to go pound sand.
And I'd love to see how they're going to track everybody that's actually working from a Linux from scratch distribution.
Yeah, I guess that's the really interesting thing. Would this apply to the kernel itself? They have a California Nexus.
The Linux kernel is not an operating system.
No. Anybody can add the kernel to their own.
I know that, and you know that, but there's no guarantee that a judge or a DA would understand that.
We'll all be going to herd,
I guess. I will just say real quick. This is the thought I had that it flew away and then it flew back. The response of, we don't have any statement on this. We are currently working on it internally with legal counsel. That is absolutely the sort of thing that you get from a corporation who knows that, the moment you open your mouth and you say something before your lawyers have responded, you're going to get yourself in trouble because the corporation will be held accountable for that potentially. And so that's a very common thing. I have no comment until we hear back from legal. That's what I would say.
No comment.
Exactly.
And as a end user, all I can say is, I'm not going to give you my age. I don't want you to know how old I am.
They don't have enough numbers in there.
I was going to say, we already know, Ken, you're old. It's fine. Yeah.
You're going to miss out on a lot of senior
discounts. I just
discounts.
put OLD.
OLD.
I'm looking forward to that senior discount on Linux, though.
Yeah, there you go. If you enjoyed this clip, be sure to check out the Untitled Linux Show. You can find us in your favorite podcasting app or subscribe to our YouTube channel down in the links below. See you there.